This is a 4-pack of AA sized lithium-ion batteries with a charger. I was sent these to review for free. They haven't paid me for my review, and my opinions remain my own. If you wanted to purchase these, I've seen them with MSRP of $28, but they also had a 50% off coupon. So it looks like about $14 or $15 might be the price you'd pay for these guys. So in the package, you have a USB A to C charging cable. There's this little carry case that doubles as a charger. It has a USB-C port here. And when you open it up, there's 4 batteries inside. CHICNOD is, I believe, the name brand here. It looks like it's kind of maybe embedded or laser engraved into that case. So we have 2 white batteries and 2 black batteries. I don't believe there's any difference between these other than the colors. And they say AA sized, and they say 3,800 milliwatt hours. So this is milliwatt hours, so that's basically 3.8 watt hours per battery is their claim here. And this is a replacement for a AA size battery, and so the output voltage is 1.5 volts. It's stepping down internally the lithium-ion cell, which is about 3.7 volts, down to 1.5 volts. However, you can't just charge this in any NiMH or NiCad type charger. It requires its own special charger that charges basically at about 5 volts, and so it needs that higher voltage to charge the lithium cells. So I am going to discharge these batteries. We will charge them back up and see how much power it takes to charge them back up and how well this charger works. So according to the specifications, this guy draws a maximum of 2 amps at 5 volts, and it can charge the batteries at 0.35 amps or 350 milliamps for each battery. Weighs 20 grams. So I'm using this battery tester charger to discharge these batteries. It doesn't understand the 1.5 volt with the lithium inside, so it can't charge them, but it can discharge them, assuming it thinks they're NiMH batteries being discharged. And the maximum discharge level I have is 700 milliamps, and so these batteries are easily putting out the 700 milliamps while being discharged. Okay, we have discharged these batteries so far that the BMS inside has disconnected them. So the cells inside probably still have a little bit of charge, but they're so low that the BMS decided, hey, it's time to disconnect the load from them. So unlike NiMH or alkaline batteries or NiCad batteries, these guys have active battery protection circuits. And so even if they're at 0 volts, it doesn't mean they're dead. It just means they've been disconnected. And so to reconnect them, the charger that comes with them puts in 5 volts. When the BMS detects the 5 volts coming in, it'll reconnect and start charging. All right, so this battery charger correctly negotiates USB-C power delivery. That basically means you can use any USB-C cable to power this guy up. It only draws 5 volts. It's not going to go into the higher voltage levels, but you can use a cell phone charger plugged into it. So we've snapped this guy closed, and currently we only have 2 batteries flashing. Now I'm going to open it, wiggle around a little, close again. It still has those 2 batteries flashing. I'm going to take those 2 batteries out, snap it closed. So it looks like the other 2 batteries are not really making a good connection there. So I'm not sure if that's because of their color or where they're located. So let's move this over there and snap again. Alright, so now those 2 batteries are flashing correctly and charging. I'm going to try putting these 2 over here. Okay, so it took a bit of opening and closing and snapping and trying things out, but we have all 4 batteries charging. The green light is flashing while it's charging, and it will go out when it stops charging. The current draw here is 1.1 amp, so it's drawing a total of 5 watts, which is not a super large amount of power. And I am going to reset the watt-hour counter here, and we will see how many watt hours it takes to charge all 4 of these batteries from a kind of completely discharged state. Alright, this guy's been charging for an hour. I've never seen it go above about 1.1 amp, so that is about 275 milliamp hours for each of those 4 batteries. So I've never seen it hit the 350 milliamp hour that the box claims, and maybe it can do that if there's less than 4 batteries being charged. Okay, all 4 of these batteries are charged, and to do so it took 19 watt hours. Right, just like those as seen on TV plastic battery sleeves, it'll convert a AA into a C-cell battery. I made them out of tape and bubble wrap. Let's see how round I got this thing. Seems like it's about the right length there. So we're going to start this at just about 2 p.m. It's 1:58. And we're going to start the time lapse. See how those 3,800 milliwatt hour AA batteries do. Alright, I came out to check on these AA batteries in the flashlight. It was about 4:08 p.m. and that flashlight went down to half brightness. So basically I saw the time when one of the battery BMSs turned itself off. So I expect the other battery will go off at some point here pretty quickly. Alright, all the way off. Okay, those guys were full. These were the ones in the flashlight, and they are fully discharged. And so I am going to charge only these 2 here. And we are keeping track of how much power it takes to charge those 2. Now when I first put them in, only one of them started charging. So I'm going to lift the lid and close it again. It's doing the same thing, just the one. So let me move the guy that's not charging over to a different slot. So now we have 2 different slots. Now we have 2 of them charging. So this charger's a little finicky. Sometimes you got to open and close it a little bit to make sure everything has a good connection, but it is charging them both now. Alright, so charging only 2 batteries, it's 5 volts at 0.7 amps, so it's basically charging at about 3.6, 3.7 watts. Alright, this guy's been going for an hour. It's got 4 watt hours in it, and it's continuing on. It's still at 0.7 amp draw. Alright, these 2 guys are done charging, and it took 9 watt hours for the 2 batteries, so say 4.5 watt hours per battery. And that is above the 3.8 watt hour capacity that the batteries are rated at. So I'm having a hard time getting the battery in this spot to be recognized by the charger. I mean, all the batteries are basically fully charged at this point in time. So, you know, this battery in that slot just wasn't working at all. And you can see here I flopped the batteries around, and it's really a problem with the slot more than the battery that's in the slot. And so these 2 batteries are fully charged, and then this guy is mostly charged but is getting a little top up. And presumably this black guy here also needs a tiny little top up. So, you know, if you're only charging 3 of the 4 batteries, that's fine. So overnight, those 3 batteries are definitely fully charged. It doesn't like say, oh, I'm done with these guys, I'm going to start doing that guy. It's just not connected to that guy. So that might be a problem with other batteries holding it up higher. But taking the other batteries out hasn't really fixed it. So it looks like it's a problem with the slot. Probably like the spring got compressed or something moved in a little bit, because move that battery to a different slot, it works fine. Alright, summary on these batteries. The batteries themselves work very well. They have more capacity than an equivalently sized NiMH battery. They don't have too bad of a self-discharge, so they'll last a couple of months. I've had 2 of these in remote control, and it's lasting for a couple of months on its own. They're not going to have as good of, it's not going to be a 10-year shelf life from like an alkaline battery, because it does have some active electronics inside that are reducing that 3.7 volts down to the 1.5 volts. So it's not great to, leave for years and years and hope they're going to be charged when you get back to them. But if you have a high demand, like a camera flash or a camera, or a flashlight that takes a lot of power, or a remote controlled car that you're going to be running through batteries really fast, these are really good for that. The real problem with this package is the charger, and you have to use the charger that charges them at 5 volts. It's not a standard NiMH charger, and so you can't charge these with anything else. And this charger here, 3 of the 4 slots work pretty reliably. One of the slots is having problems, and I think it's not an electrical issue. I think it's a mechanical connection issue where like a spring inside got a little compressed, or it's just not making a good connection to the battery. So it works okay, if you're only charging 3 batteries at a time, it's fine, but you can't reliably charge all 4 batteries at the same time in this particular charger.